Hey guys, sorry I missed you. Let's go through everything so you don't miss a thing. First thing we want to do is actually go and do a very quick reading goal check-in. So I'll put the link here down in the comments, but if you go ahead and click on that, all we want to know is your name, your block. Go ahead and check on your reading goal. This GIF here shows you how to get to it and be able to pull it up and find out where it is, right? It's on that task list. You can click on that very first thing. It should be right there. I just want to know, what progress have you made? Go ahead and let me know. That's all we need to know there. So please take a minute, click on that link in the comments, and go and take the survey. Perfect. All right, let's move on. So we also want to make sure we go ahead and get a chance to go ahead and reread your writing log. Why? It's to be able to kind of remind you of what you wrote about. So it's back in that task list, same place, shows you how to get there. Click on task number 2. It's going to be right there. Do me a favor, would you? Take a minute to reread what you wrote and pay very close attention to which themes you wrote about. And also, if you had to choose just one theme, what one theme do you think A, you have the most evidence to support, and B, do you feel like you could write a lot more about if you needed to? Go ahead and reread now. Excellent. Now that that's fresh in your mind and you remember what you wrote about and you're thinking about that one theme that was easiest for you to write about, let's do a quick little review. I'm going to go ahead and leave this comment down here in the chat, but once you click on it, I want you to go ahead and take this, and I'll show you. If I'm going to go ahead and take this and I say that I'm in first block, I just want to see, what do I remember about an effective thesis statement? What do I think is a good example of a claim? And what do I think is a good example of evidence? When I submit, I am going to want to make sure that I view my score, because it's pretty simple. If you notice at this point, I only got 1 out of 3 right. But the cool thing is, guys, it will tell me what the correct answer should have been and why I should know that for anything that I missed. So right now, go to link number 2 in the comments. Go ahead and take this survey. Let's see how you do. Excellent. Did you check your results? Make sure you do that. If you did, though, let's go ahead and keep rocking and rolling, all right? So let's talk about planning your essay when it comes to the box and bullets and the draft. First thing we want to do is we want to go to task number 3 on your task list. So go ahead and click there, task number 3. It'll bring you right down here. So once you get there, great. First thing we want you to do is go ahead and add a theme. This isn't technically in number 2. So right here, that yellow box, go ahead and drop in the theme that you thought you are going to be able to write most clearly and most effectively about. If you're going to take all the different themes you wrote about in your writing log, which one theme do you think you could write the best about? Add that theme in the yellow box now. Great. Let's keep on going, shall we? Step 2, we got to talk about thesis statements. For every single thesis statement, this is really important. It's going to be formatted in just this way. In the title of your story, comma, your author's name, develops the theme of whatever theme you chose through the use of, and then you're going to actually plug this in. You're going to either plug in the word moments, or you're going to plug in the word symbolism, or you're going to plug in the 3 words specific layer devices. So if you were going to go ahead and do that, this is what yours would look like. If you were doing the academic, your example of a thesis would sound like, in idolatry, if idolatry was our short story example, Sherman Alexie, who's the author, develops the theme of deception, that's the theme that we chose, through the use of key moments in the text. If you're going to be doing honors, same idea, just a little bit tweaked. If you're going to be doing honors, you'd say in idolatry, our short story, and our author, Sherman Alexie, develops the theme of deception, that's the theme we chose, through the use of symbolism, if that was a theme, if that was what we were using to go ahead and examine theme. Last but not least, if we were doing above and beyond, we'd say in idolatry, our short story, Sherman Alexie, who's our author, develops the theme of deception through the use of inner thoughts. So, using that format, this exact format, let's go ahead and write our thesis now, right? So we could do that. We could say right here, I could say, in Disreputable History, that's going to be my story, E. Lockhart, who's my author, develops the theme of conformity, that's the theme I'm choosing, through the use of inner thoughts, because I'm doing above and beyond. So add your thesis now. Excellent. So now let's go ahead and talk about claims and make sure we can set those up. For claims, every single claim is going to look like this. The most significant way your author develops a theme is through, you could either say the moment when, or the symbolism of, or the use of this little device in the moment when blah. So if I want to take a look at that for my academic, I could go ahead and say this. I could say my example for a claim using academic would be the most significant way Alexei, that's my author's last name, develops the theme of deception is through the moment when Marie realizes her most trusted allies have been lying to her for years. This is my very quick summary synopsis of that one scene. If I was going to be doing honors, what I could do here is I could say the most significant way that Alexei, my author's last name, develops the theme of deception is through the symbolism of the green room. I said what that symbol was. It's important to include that symbol. Last but not least, if I was going to be doing above and beyond, if I was going to be talking about specific literary device, I might say the most significant way Alexei, that's my author's last name, develops the theme of deception is through the use of inner thoughts. That's going to be my literary device. The moment when, the judge levies his blistering critique, so we know exactly which moment that comes in. So now, we're just going to go ahead and add our claim. Right underneath where you went and wrote your thesis, go ahead and fill in what you've got. So I said the most significant way Lockhart develops the theme is through the use of inner thoughts when Frankie talks to John for the final time. So, your turn. Go ahead and add in your claim now. Excellent. You're doing great. Now let's move on to evidence. Remember, evidence means a quote. It's going to be one or two sentences from the story, maximum of two sentences. It can either be dialogue or not dialogue. But the important thing is it has to be one or two direct sentences straight from the story. It's got to be a quote. So if I go ahead and I've got to add in my quote, I would just go right down here to my evidence. That's my last box there. And I would drop in a quote that I could find that I thought supported the theme coming through with this literary device. And I've got my quote here. It is better to be alone, she figures, than to be with someone who can't see you for who you are. It is better to lead than to follow. So, your turn. Go ahead and find one or two sentences straight from the story and go ahead and add them into your boxes and bullets for the evidence now. Excellent. Now, let's get on to our final thing, which is drafting. There's technically two ways to draft. The first way you could draft is you could go and use the graphic organizer. If that's the case, what you want to do is you want to use all the different hints that are in the orange box to go ahead and tell you to what to write in the yellow box. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. If there's a link in that orange box, don't ignore it. Click it. It's there to help you. I'm trying to give you as many hints as I possibly can. So, go ahead. Use the directions from the orange box to fill in the yellow box. Direction from the orange box, yellow box, orange box, yellow box, orange box, yellow box, orange box, yellow box. I can't say that too fast. There's another way you could draft, though. The other way you could draft if you wanted to would just be using drafting without the graphic organizer. If that was the case, I would want you to use the graphic organizer as a spot check to make sure you had all your steps, to make sure that you had your claim, your evidence, and your means relates matters. But you could draft beneath. If you want to go and do that, there's a spot right under there that you can go and draft. Just remember, if you're using this method, really make sure that you're looking back at that graphic organizer to make sure you have all 5 parts and that you have all 5 parts in the right place and that you did them the right way. Huge tip. Don't forget that. So now you just go and draft. And that right there is it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you finish up your boxes and bullets. Make sure that you draft at least one paragraph. And hey, work on your reading goal because that's coming sooner than you think. So that does it here. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. Otherwise, go ahead and get some work done. You got this.